Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Elan.
Thanks for inviting me, Sarah. That's amazing.
Of course. I'm so excited. I love doing this. It's so fun for me to get to meet new people from all over the world and also to learn their stories and how they stumbled across Spinal Flow. So, do you mind taking us back just a little bit? Like, what was your life like before Spinal Flow?
Well, I'm a massage therapist, but that being said, I'm a fairly new massage therapist as well. I got a late start in life. I actually worked as a waitress for 30 years.
Well, that's hard work.
It was hard work. And I was like, there's got to be something more that means more. So I started looking around and I had a lot of support to get into massage. So in 2019, I went back to school and I passed my OSCEs and I started working and my clientele was coming to me and I just loved it so much. But then 2 summers ago, I was working and I was like, ow, my shoulder. And I was like, I ended up being off work for a month healing.
Did you have to have some surgery or you just needed to give it a break?
I just needed to give it a rest.
Okay.
So I started looking around online and I'm like, there's got to be another way, a better way to help people as well. Like I'm helping people. I resonate with this, but there's got to be something a little bit more that's more gentle on me and gentle on my clients. I was getting tired. I kind of gained the reputation of Elan can do it, and Lan can do that trigger point work and she'll get right in there
Yeah.
and I did until I hurt myself.
Yeah. No, you know what? There's probably so many massage therapists out there that can identify with your story right now. They have their hearts in the right place and they're passionate about helping people feel better. But then who's taking care of them? It's hard on the body.
That's right. That's right. And I was going for many different treatments myself. I was going to chiropractic and I was going to physio. I was going for massage, but nothing was really, I just had to heal. So I started looking online at different modalities and Spinal Flow kept popping up on my Facebook feed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? And I watched the video and I was like, well, that's interesting. And then I started seeing what Carly was saying, and I started doing a little bit of investigating on my own, and I'm like, this made sense to me. And so I actually she's a massage therapist over in Prince Edward Island, Patty. And
Is that over by Seattle?
no, I'm in Canada. I'm on the east coast of Canada.
Oh, I had it backwards. I was thinking of, I think, Victoria Island. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I'm on the opposite coast. I'm
Okay.
about 4,000 kilometers from there.
Nice.
About 3,700 miles, I think, 3,600 miles. Yeah, so she's in another province altogether. But I did find her online and I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I've been seeing this. And she's like, oh my God, you have to do it. It's amazing. It's incredible. I said, so, you're telling me it's worth it. She's like, it's so
Yeah.
worth it. So I made the phone call. And I was thinking to myself, okay, well, I'll call, but I don't know. And then I talked to them.
It felt right.
I need a day or two to think about it. And then
Yeah.
anyway, I ended up diving in and went to Barcelona, which was a trip of a lifetime in itself, along with all the healing that was taking place, and became certified.
Wow.
My practice, I work 4 days a week, and I'm going to say that my practice is about 90% spinal flow.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
incredible. How
yeah.
long did it take you to switch over? Like, you already had patient or clients with massage. Did they automatically, were they happy with just becoming a spinal flow patient instead?
Yes, they
Good.
were.
Cool.
I made them. I was
Right.
very convincing. And I told them, I said, this is where my heart is, my passion. I
Yeah.
believe in it. It helped me. This is what happened to me when I went for treatment. And people were like, okay, I'll try it.
I love it.
And
Nice.
I started working with one of my ladies. When I was just practicing, I wasn't certified. I was just practicing. And she was like, yeah. And she'd come in and she'd be like, oh, Elan, I'm really hurting. And I'm like, do you want me to give you a massage? She's like, spinal flow. I want
That's
spinal flow.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so
So
cool.
I just love it. And, there's a couple people it doesn't quite resonate with,
Mhm,
and it's like,
mhm,
that's fine.
mhm.
I've got some other clients that they're like, you know what I'd really like? I'd like a massage and then spinal flow. And I'm like, that's fine too,
Yeah,
because it really helps them. They need the
yeah,
human contact
yeah.
for their
So
mental.
that makes sense. Yeah, that's important too. So you're okay with doing massages a little bit still, it doesn't hurt your shoulder?
No, it doesn't hurt my shoulder. I'm very careful. I don't do deep tissue anymore.
Okay.
I'll recommend somebody if like I can do some deep tissue, but I'm not going to do what I used to do.
Yeah, you had to take it a different direction.
I've
Well,
taken a
another
different direction. It's changed everything. It's changed the way I think and the way I relate to the body.
Wow. Tell us more about
You
that. And go a little deeper if you don't mind on that.
Yeah, for sure. Like I used to do the deep tissue and a lot of trigger point work. People were like, yeah, it hurts so good. And then I feel better after. But then I'm like, but I'm interfering too much with the nervous system, I find. So
Mhm.
now I do a lot of shaking with them. I do a lot of rocking. I'll do some stripping for sure to help their muscle to relieve some tension, but I won't go super deep. And then
Got it.
once I get in, because I don't want to confuse their nervous system either.
Yeah, yeah,
It's really, I don't know, Carly doesn't really recommend to do the two together.
yeah,
Um, but I have some clients and they just love to do the combination.
yeah,
So I also want to cater to my clients but I have changed. I don't want to interfere with the nervous system so much that I'm hurting them and then I'm being so gentle. It's like, no, no, let's just
yeah,
get out of fight or flight, do some nice massage,
yeah.
and then we'll get into the spinal flow. And
I
people are
actually
floating out. They love it.
floating out of your office. I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
So that's I like how you put that you do rocking and shaking of the muscles. You're helping soften them up, relax them without actually, like you say, digging deep and connecting to a pain point. Because the whole point of spinal flow is connecting to points of ease in the body, right?
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Can you speak to, as a massage therapist, can you speak to explaining to people why spinal flow works? I hesitate to say this because it's disputable to some people's minds, but oftentimes better than massage. And I know that Carly explains it a little bit. I just would like to hear your take on it.
Yeah. Um, my take on it is the same as yours. Like I'm looking for that area of ease. And to get a little bit technical, in the sacrum area, like the little triangle,
Hmm.
there's an abundance of dura mater. Dura mater is what surrounds the spine and it surrounds the brain. And like I said, it's abundant in that triangle. So I'm actually looking for a squishy area, somewhere where it feels nice and soft.
Hmm.
And when I connect with that, I'm asking the people like my area, I'm in a safe space. I'm well lighted, calm lighting. I have beautiful music playing.
Hmm.
And I'm just asking people to relax and try to connect with their bodies and to see what they're feeling, if they feel anything at all. And so that signal's going up the spine to the brain. And because the brain is feeling that ease, it'll let go and it'll help the nerves release and start doing their job with their muscles. Um, 'Cause I'm not sure our nerves control every aspect of our bodies. Every single cell in our body is controlled by our nerves.
Yeah,
So,
I love how you just put that. That's exactly what I was kind of hoping that you would get to. The thought I had in my mind was you said the nerves. No, I forgot your exact words, but something about the nerves tell the muscles what to do. And so I love that concept of traditional massage. You feel a tight muscle, and you're working the muscle, right? You're working the muscle, the symptom, right, to relax it. But maybe it was tight because it had to be tight to hold the body together. Maybe it was tight for a reason. So when you don't work on the symptom, the muscle, and you instead work on the nervous system, then that, like you said, the brain connects and it talks to the body, and through the nervous system, it then relaxes the muscle.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Because we're human. We are a full body. We're not a piece of body.
There you go.
Everything works together, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful modality. And I just wish everybody could find it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
soon they will be able to. There's so many practitioners joining, or becoming practitioners everywhere, it seems like. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be really well known, I anticipate, in the next few years. Do you happen to have any stories off the top of your head of examples of people that have benefited from this in your practice?
I've had, well, just this morning, I have a mother and daughter that come in together.
Nice.
Um, Mom has been through an awful lot of trauma, emotional trauma. When she leaves, she feels light. She feels invigorated. Like she'll come in tears, and she's just like, oh, I don't want to get into her story too much because
Yeah,
but
yeah. We can leave names out. So just a person in the world.
and then
Go on.
yeah, she's had a lot of losses, and she's not very old. Her daughter
Mhm.
is 6.
Okay.
She's the first and only child that I've worked on so far.
Yeah.
She's 6 years old and she rides horses, and she's actually riding bareback.
Nice.
And she was in this morning, and the flow in this little girl was so beautiful. I said, "Did you know that your hips were, they were bouncing basically?" And she's like, "No." And I said, "And the flow through your body, it was just so," I said, "There's no possible way that her body would make those movements on its own. It had to be
Cool.
her spine doing it." And
Mhm.
I asked her if she knew if she was lifting her head or not. And she's like, "No." And I said, "No, your head was lifting right up off the face cradle."
Isn't that
And I
cool?
feel because she's so young and her bones are so pliable and her spine
Yeah.
is so pliable with that jamming, with
Yeah.
the jarring from horseback riding,
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like her whole body was just letting go and
Mm.
getting the ease back into the spine. And maybe her mom said, "Oh my gosh, look how tall you're standing now."
Cool.
Because I feel that doing this
Yeah.
and then stretching it back out.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
and that's such an incredible gift for that girl to start receiving spinal flow sessions at such a young
yeah,
age. Like,
yes,
that's gonna really keep her healthy for her whole life if she continues it.
yeah, yeah. My brother, he came in he's been in a couple of times. He hasn't been in lately, but he came in and he was like, "Well, that was kind of cool." And I'm like,
Nice.
"Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it." He's like, "Yeah, I feel super relaxed and I feel lighter." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he called me about 3 days later and he says, "Sis." I said, "What's up, brother?" And he's like, "My sciatic's gone."
Ooh, that's a huge
I
one.
know, right?
Yeah, that doesn't go away, if ever, with any other, modalities.
It doesn't. Um, I have another lady that was in, and she had tinnitus, the ringing in the ears.
Oh, horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, she had it for well, at that point, it had been 2 or 3 weeks steady and loud. And I brought her in for 2 sessions in the one day, and it went from 100% to like maybe 5%.
Wow, what
And then
really
it disappeared, and then it would come back, but it would just come back for that split second, and then it would leave
uh,
again.
and that was only after one session?
That was after one session. It went down to about
Um,
15%, and then after a second session, it went down to about 5%, and sometimes
Incredible.
zero.
Because I think that ringing in the ears would drive me crazy. Like, you would wanna, like, go screaming down the street, like,
Yeah,
to nonstop. That would be horrible. So what a huge relief.
yeah. And I'll
Hmm.
tell you what happened with me. I went to see a lady named Kate. She lived in northern New Brunswick, and now she's moved. And it's about a 2.5 hour drive, I guess. Now she's moved even farther away, to Quebec. And I went to see her, and she was very welcoming, and allowed me to stay in her home overnight. And she gave me two sessions. Two sessions. I had vertigo really badly, like going to the hospital.
Oh, oh
Vertigo.
my gosh.
Um, Upset,
Terrible.
like not just upset stomach, like I couldn't get up off the
The
bathroom.
room is spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was sick from it.
Yeah.
That disappeared, I'm going to say 10 months.
You
It was,
mean it took 10 months of sessions or
no, no, no. It took two sessions
oh, okay, you were
and my
dealing with it for
vertigo
that
was
long.
gone.
Wow.
Now, I don't know. I chalk it up to an amazing session of Spinal Flow.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. No,
I can't,
it doesn't surprise me at all that Spinal Flow does that. It's amazing. I mean, vertigo, like you say, you can't do anything. You can't think, you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't even walk to the bathroom. I mean, when it's severe, all you can do is lay there, and even laying there makes your stomach turn.
well, no, I couldn't lay there. I'd have to kind of be in sitting position. And it was really, really awful.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
2 sessions later and you're free of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, that was what happened to me. And
Mhm.
like I said, we don't know what's going to happen with other people. It's,
Yeah. Well, here's what we do know. It works on everybody. It's just your body has its own priorities. We might come in for a session wanting this fixed, and your body says, "Yeah, that's number 5 on the priority list. I'm going to fix this, this, and this first," right? So it does work. I know both you and I have 100% confidence in that. Just people need to be a little bit patient. It's awesome when it fixes something on the first or second visit. But sometimes your body's gonna be working on other things, and it might take 3 months, 6 months.
that's
But,
right. Yeah,
just
that's
like
right.
we brush our teeth every day, and that's maintenance to keep them healthy, our bodies need maintenance too. So, when people ask those questions like, "Well, how long is it gonna take, and then can I stop?" Well, you could, but then, you know, your body's gonna need maintenance still.
Yeah. Yeah. And that goes with any modality as well. Whether it's massage or chiropractic or physio, we do have to go for maintenance. This is no different, but it is different. It's kind of like massage, physio, chiro,
All
all
in
wrapped up
one.
into one beautiful package.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I also love that people can stay fully clothed. They can come as they are, and their only job is to get relaxed in their mind. They don't have to. I know for myself, that's something I always found annoying with going and getting a massage, having to disrobe and get dressed again and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're all oily and the bra
Right.
sticks to you.
Right. Exactly. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Oh, those are such great stories. I
Yeah.
love it. And
Yeah.
wow, what a great success that you've had as well, getting your life back from the vertigo. It's huge. Now, before we did this, I didn't really ask you any questions. So I just want to ask now, was there something on your mind that you wanted to specifically talk about today? Like when you booked the appointment with me, was there anything in particular that you wanted to share?
The only thing I want to share is basically how beautiful this is, and I want people to know about it and that it works. Like I'm busy with it. Like this is really, this is good for me to be on with you, with your YouTube.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. But just to be able to get this word out to other people so that they can get the help that they need.
Yep.
Um, and my people are getting the help. I have one more quick little story.
Oh, and yeah,
My
take your
my
time.
lady was in yesterday. She wanted to come in and try Spinal Flow, and she'd been talking about it for quite a while. And finally, she called me and she said, "I'd like to book a session." And I said, "Okay." And I could tell when she left, she didn't feel anything when she was on the table.
Okay.
She came in for some hip pain, and So she's like, well, I'm going to rebook another session. And I said, well, please do, like give it another try. And I'm not saying that you're going to feel something the next time either, but just pay attention to your body when you go home and see what happens. You might be more grounded. You might get a great night's sleep.
Right.
Like your body pain may dissipate some. So just, pay attention and see. She's like, okay. So she came in for a second session. She's like, Elan, or actually, I'm going to back up. She said, she walked in and I said, so I need to ask you. I said, you didn't feel anything when you were here in your last session. There was no tingling, there was no vibration, there was
Yeah.
nothing. And she's like, no, I felt nothing. And I said, okay, how do you feel now? She says, my hip pain has been reduced by so much. I can't believe it. I said, thank you, because I knew just because you didn't feel anything doesn't mean that it's not going to work
Yep.
or that it's not working.
Yep.
Um, so she's been in now. I've had her in half a dozen times. And
Hmm.
she told me the last time that she was in, she said, I'm actually giving up massage.
Oh, wow.
She says, I'm going to come see you. She says, not that I don't love going for the massage and having
Sure.
the touch, but I'm getting what I need
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
this
The
time.
body's healing. Yeah. I love that story. It just really goes to show that it can take time. I think one of your earlier stories, you said it took like, was it your brother? You said like by day 3, he noticed something. So it takes time and the body does continue working long after a session's over, hours and hours, and if not days afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. That amazes me too, that, you know, the people just keep flowing after.
Yeah.
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 It's really cool. What have you found, or is it just all individual, to be the sweet spot for if somebody's watching this, they're thinking, I want to try it. How many sessions like per week should I have? What have you found to be the sweet spot for your people or your practice?
I encourage them to come in if they can come in for the first couple of sessions. I asked them if they could even come back on the same day, just to get a feel for it. I found that it's very individual. Some people are going, you know what? I can't. It's too much. Even though they're not feeling a lot and it's so gentle, it's too much for their nervous system and they're
Mm-hmm.
exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm finding that a lot of my clients, mind you, they were coming in quite a bit in the beginning. They were coming in like 3 times a week
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of weeks at least. And then a lot of them are mostly maintenance, I'm going to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Some of them are once a week because they've got amazing, you know, they just love it. And so they're coming in once a week.
Yeah.
Others, it's once every couple of weeks. I don't like to ask people to come in too often because I know that lots of times it's affordability as well. And I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some people, I have adjusted, and I'm not going to put my financial fears onto somebody else.
No.
But I have adjusted my prices a little bit with a couple of people because I know that they really, really need it. They're
Mm-hmm.
getting a lot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in a small town. I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
I don't want to put my fears on them, I still know,
Yeah,
like
there's
my town
situations.
is 2,000 people.
Yeah, gotcha. No, and that's just being really considerate of you. And yeah, I personally, it sounds like we're similar. I like to tell people you'll be back when you feel like you need to come back, you know? So if you have had a chronic issue and it's something that's plaguing you daily, you'll probably want to come back sooner and your body will tell you to come back sooner. But if you're feeling great, then, just come back when you feel like you need to. Then that way there's no pressure at all for them and they're coming back because they know it works and they want to.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
being able to work with more than one person at the same time is a very cool experience as well.
Yes.
It's
Have you
fun.
found, personally, I found that everybody I worked on that's had both one-on-one session and group sessions, after they've experienced the group, they actually prefer it. Have you found that in your practice?
Some are perfectly happy having somebody else in the room. I've had others that they like to talk.
Oh, yeah. And we're not supposed to.
I
Carly says,
know, I
no,
know, but growing up with these people for a really long, like
I know.
in
It's
this
hard.
small area, they kind of come in and they purge that sort of thing as
Yeah,
well. And, and they're like, I'd really prefer a one-on-one.
that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll do that. And I have others that are just like, that's fine if somebody else wants to join me,
Mhm.
so I do like that.
What about the time length? A lot of people getting a massage, they're used to like an hour, sometimes longer. How long do you prep people that your spinal flow sessions are?
I tell them they're about a half an hour. I find most people, 25 minutes is long enough. Sometimes I go 35, especially for the first couple of sessions. Um, just, and I don't know if it's in my head or because coming from massage and doing a 1 hour, 1 hour or a 90-minute session,
Yeah.
I just feel like it should be longer. But it shouldn't, because I know that sometimes when I was on the table, we had a gathering of ladies and there was
Hmm.
10 of us. And, I'm like, how long was that? It felt like I was on there forever. And they're like, oh, that was like 20 minutes.
Isn't that cool?
Oh.
It's so cool. Yeah, I've fell into the same trap, I guess. There's been a few times where I gave my client a longer session because I just wanted to give them more, and thought maybe it'd be better for them. Actually, both times with the person I'm thinking of, both times she reported to me later that that was too long for her body. Like she felt much better with the shorter 20 to 30-minute sessions. So it's a retraining of our brain. Longer doesn't necessarily mean better. It's there's a sweet spot in what the body can handle per session.
That's right. I do have a gentleman that comes in. I haven't seen him in a while, but he was coming in and he's like, Elan, he says, we need to draw the line at 20 minutes.
Wow.
Anything over 20 minutes, he says, I'm just like, I'm anxious. I want it, I got to
Yeah.
get up. I got to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm like, no
That was very
worries.
self-aware of him.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I said, I'm going to put that in your notes and make sure that we don't do that. So,
Yeah.
so I am quite aware of people that they don't necessarily, like you said, sometimes less
Yeah.
is more.
There you go. That's a good way to, yeah, that's a good motto. Less is more when it comes to spinal flow.
Yeah,
As far as session length of time, not necessarily frequency. So,
that's
like
right.
you said, coming in twice a day, hey, that's amazing. That's really good for a person. Multiple times per week, it's very good. But so, is there anything, Elan, that I haven't thought to ask that you would like to share before we wrap it up?
Oh my gosh, I think you've pretty much covered everything. Like you said, it is for everybody. And I do want to throw that in. Like, there's
Yeah.
no contraindications like there is
Yeah.
with massage or chiropractic, or physio, like
Yeah.
they have to be super careful. Our nervous systems, and no, I'm saying Carly's words. Our nervous systems will not go against us.
There you go.
They're not our enemy. They are our friend. It is our friend, and it will work with us.
Yeah.
Sometimes things might get a little worse before it gets better, but there's no contraindications, and spinal flow will not hurt us.
I love that. That's so good that you mentioned that. And I'll just take that even a step further for people that might be thinking, really, no contraindications? What about for a pregnant woman? Nope, it's safe for them. What about for a brand newborn baby? It's safe for them. What about for somebody that's paralyzed? It's safe for them. So, like she said, no contraindications. It's good for everybody
It
that has a
is,
spine, and that even includes animals.
yes, which I have done as well, but that's just more my mom and dad's dog, or
Sure.
you know, yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure it's helped the dog.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And he turns around and looks at me like, "What are you
Yeah.
doing? What's going on?"
Oh, right. Yeah, my dog does that too. Yeah, it's funny. My cat loves it. My cat sinks right into it, and she, just really, really loves it. I say my cat. She actually passed a few weeks back, maybe a month ago, of old age. But when I had her, she loved it so much. It was so relaxing for her. she'd purr loud. But my dog, he's a 2-year-old puppy, and he's constantly like, "What are you doing to me?" You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But what's cool about it is they don't lie. Animals, the placebo effect doesn't work on them. Like, so it shows that it's really working because you can just use the lightest touch and they feel stuff and they react to it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so beautiful. And I'm beyond grateful for stumbling into it,
Yeah, me too.
everything for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, it took me a while to come into healing and to trying to help people as best to my ability. And I'm just so grateful that Carly put this program together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's changed your life, it sounds like.
It,
That's
oh,
so
it's
beautiful.
completely changed my life.
Um,
Completely.
so this has been amazing. Do you happen to have a website or an email or a phone number that you maybe wouldn't mind sharing, just in case there's somebody out there that maybe doesn't live too far from you or just has questions or wants to reach out to you in any way?
Absolutely. Would you like me to get my card? Oh, no.
Sure, sure. Flash that up in front of the screen. Perfect. Hold it right there. Beautiful. We can see it.
Can you see
506
it?
467 8248. We got it.
And Elan
Thank you
Chandler
so
at
much.
gmail.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, Elan, it's been so nice meeting you today. I'm hearing your
You as well.
story. Thank you so much for your time, for coming on.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Like, I was so thrilled when I saw your post that you were doing this, and I was like, yay, I want to meet you and do this and
This has been
get
incredible.
the word out.
Yes,
Thank you.
everyone go try Spinal Flow today.
Thank you.
Thank you.